Hi, Darren. How are you? Your accidental emoji was funny. You just met me and you asked me that question? You guys come up with funny questions, I have to say. So, how come it's not showing that? It's weird. How's everybody doing? Thank you. Wow, you're close to me. I'm in the Dallas area. Isn't it nice that it's gotten warmer? What did that person do? I do cook. I cook, clean. I do a lot of wash, that's for sure. A lot of wash. Is that... Hi, Roger. How are you? I haven't seen you in a long time. Let's see. You said, do I remember you? I'm not going to lie. I don't. I was working out and I honestly just didn't have any more energy. I should have worked out earlier, but I played a good game of pickleball today, and so that was my cardio for the day, and I lifted weights a little bit. So sometimes we have to be kind of kind to ourselves and not expect. That's always been my concern, is that I tend to push myself too much, and I have to learn to listen to my body. And when I am too exhausted to work out, then I've learned you need to listen to yourself and not work out instead of forcing myself to, regardless. So, well, what did that person do? Now I'm doing something I've never done before. What did that person do, Darren? What did they say? Thank you about the abs. For the first time ever, I'm wearing earbuds. Aren't I advanced? I'm mocking myself. But, so I'm listening to music, and music, I can control my mood pretty well with music. So, this is my live. That's nice. Darren, what did that person do? Oh. Now I can't do a back dive or a front dive. I've taken not many, but I definitely took swim lessons growing up, and for some reason, I'm just not a swimmer. And I was always afraid to dive. Isn't that ridiculous? So I didn't. I don't stand still for a lot of reasons. The reason I don't stand still is because every bit of movement adds up over time. And if you read and know very much about weight loss, you know that fidgeting counts. And I don't want to just stand like this. I just don't like that. I like to move. I've done this for a long time, and that's what I prefer. Oh, I remember what I did. 364. I swam. Did you really, Norman? That's pretty amazing. Yes, it burns calories, and I like to fidget. If adults take hints from kids, and kids generally aren't overweight, kids are always fidgeting. Kids are always moving. They're always kneeling and squatting and moving. Well, there's a reason for that, and I've read studies about it, that we should try to fidget more. You're a professional diver. Wow. You must be very brave, because I consider myself very strong-willed, and I don't think I could make myself dive. I don't know. Lucas, you should be doing your homework. You can't hear the music that I can hear. It gets easier. Well, I'm sure you're right. And you know what? I'm actually very athletic. And I probably could do it. It never appealed to me for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal is. Now, when it came to gymnastics, basketball, any high eye-hand movement, I'm pretty gifted with my eye-hand core movement, and I picked up tennis quickly, and I'm lucky in that regard. But for some reason, I really struggled with learning proper swim form. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely swim or can swim. I just don't. Oh, you play tennis? Do you play for a team or for your school? I haven't played in a long time. Hi, Florida, West Florida. What's the weather like right now? No, you just play for fun. Yeah, tennis is a life skill. Oh, I love pickleball. I played pickleball today. Now, that's something that I can play without regard. It doesn't matter what the weather's like or anything. The gym that I go to has pickleball, and I played it today and had a blast. I'm kind of different from other people. I don't care about keeping score or really competing. I'd rather just keep hitting the ball for hours. I just really enjoy it. I have to force myself to think about the score. I like to rock. It's easy on the knees, yeah. But I've played tennis. I'm no great tennis player, believe me. But I kept trying to hit the ball like that. And well, that's ridiculous. You can't do that in pickleball. And then I kept hitting it too hard and hitting it out. Well, this is the first time I've played today in a long time. Hi, firefighter. How are you? Oh, well, thank you, Jess. I admire you, and thank you for your service, Mr. Firefighter. So what's it like out in TikTok land? I'm in Texas too, Mike. Mike, Texas. And you were born in 1961, is that right? Arlington. Close to you. So how's everybody doing tonight? What am I doing? Well, I'm standing in a room in my house, and I don't like to stand still, and so I'm just moving around. I could. The whole reason I'm on TikTok, though, is to talk about the psychology of weight loss and how I lost 110 pounds despite being morbidly obese for over 3 decades. And I wanted to show this picture of myself that I found a couple weeks ago. I have a lot of pictures to go through. I just haven't taken the hours that I need to put everything together, and I have video that I need to transfer, and I haven't done that. But this is me with my uncle in Gloucester, and I don't know if I was, can you tell that's me? But he's a psychiatrist. That's quite a feat. I never thought ever that I wouldn't be obese. I never believed I wouldn't be. I tried for years to lose weight, and I would lose and gain and lose and gain, lose and gain, and I could never keep it off. The most I ever kept off was like 40 pounds. When I got down to about, I don't know if it was 40 or 50, I got down to about 200 when I went to Spain. My husband at that time had won a trip to Spain, and we went to Spain, and that was my motivation at that time to lose weight. I need to turn this music down. But I've learned, gosh, maybe I'm talking too loud. I learned that it takes a lot more than just a one-time goal to lose weight. A lot more than that. At least for people like me that really struggle with their weight. Most people don't have so much going against them like I did, and struggle with so many different areas in their weight loss like me. Most people have it a lot easier. What, Mike? I don't understand. Arlington. You said Arlington here, and then you said please, Mike, so I don't understand. Do you want to see the picture of me again? I know you don't. So I'm going to show it anyway. There I am. Oh, thank you, William. There, you got the picture. Do you want to see it more? So, I did do Jenny Craig. I was actually a weight loss counselor at one point. I did do Jenny Craig. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't lose weight finally until I was in my mid-40s. 140 pounds for 4 years. Congratulations. Crazy, that's wonderful. Good for you. Something that I've learned in this unbelievable journey. Thank you. At least for me. Thank you, Darren. I have to celebrate it's not like I'm just suddenly this different person that doesn't struggle with weight. I still do. I still struggle. Big time. So there's so much psychology to it. There's more than just having a one-time goal to stay motivated. There's so much more that's involved. And all the years that I tried to lose weight and follow these eating plans and exercise, and all I could do usually was walk. But all the years that I did that, it was basically a waste. And to have been that obese, this obese for the majority of my life. Now, there were times when I wasn't. Oh, wow, thank you. There were times that I wasn't quite this obese, but it didn't last. And of course, when I did get down, I'd always take a lot of pictures. And this is a rare picture, but this is my uncle that I was visiting in Gloucester, Boston. So I took pictures. Well, I've actually gained 10 pounds, and I'm not as ripped as I was, but I always gain weight in the winter. What was my routine? Well, when I was that heavy and I wore a brace on my leg just to walk, and I could hardly walk, all I did for exercise was either walk, and I used to go to World Gym in Houston and ride the stationary bike. I did that. But the whole problem, even if you exercise, well, thank you. That's very sweet of you to say that. Even if you exercise, if you can't control your food intake, it doesn't matter for weight loss. And I couldn't control my food intake. I could always make myself go for a walk. I mean, I like walking. I think it's with music. I'm listening to music now. With music, and I'm a big daydreamer. I think I solve problems when I exercise, and I do my best thinking when I'm exercising. So I could always, walking was never like a chore to me. What I struggled with was controlling my food intake. I know how it's been, how it is. I've been obese since I was 8. I'm 24. Well, now you're the kind of person, Norman, that I want to help. I mean, I want to help everyone that wants help, but I'm hardcore obese. I struggle with multiple eating issues and physical issues. And if you look at my link in my bio, I'm the #1 featured success story on the National Weight Control Registry. They vetted me out. I'm the real deal. Very few people have been morbidly obese or most of their life and then actually lost it. I lost 44% of my body weight. That's 110 pounds. Well, some women weigh 110 pounds. So it's like I lost a person. And there's so much psychology to it, so much that you have to wrap your mind around when you've struggled the majority of your life with your weight. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But if someone like thank you, Booty. If someone like I can lose weight, can you tell that's me? If someone like I can lose weight, I know most people don't struggle with all the eating issues that I have. If I told you all of the different issues I have with food, you probably wouldn't believe me. Or maybe you'd believe me and you would just think it was pathetic for one person to have that many issues with food. And I'm saying that because I'm trying to get across how profound, how big of a deal it is that someone like me could lose weight in their mid-40s. I don't think I look beautiful, but that's very nice of you to say. I did very slowly. I learned from all of my failures. I felt like a failure. I felt like I was worthless. I was told I was worthless by my husband repeatedly. And anyway, I had to be very gentle with myself. I could not go on some so-called diet again. And I don't even like that name, diet. Well, you don't have to say you're sorry, Norman, but thank you. It didn't help that I was in a very abusive marriage, had 3 kids I was raising, and I had a career, but I gave up my career so I could raise our sons. I've tried your name and everything, nothing. I've tried you. What do you mean, Karen? I don't understand. Something very big to me is every time I decided that I was going to finally do it this time, and that means lose weight. I thought, okay, now I'm going to really lose it. I really mean it this time. I'll do anything. I'll do it. But I want it to come off real fast. I'm ready. I want it off. Well, it doesn't work like that. Thank you. It doesn't work like that. It's very difficult to be patient, but you have to remember and realize you're changing your entire lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's not something that you go in and out of. It's not products, Karen, and that's the problem. I was the same way. I tried all the fiber pills and Ipecac that makes you throw up, and I would try to stuff my body with fiber pills to make my stomach, just ridiculous. diets, and I could never stay on anything because I was always hungry. I'm talking about how I was morbidly obese until I was in my mid 40s, when it took me 3 years to lose 110 pounds, 44% of my body weight. If you look at my bio, I'm the #1 featured success story on the National Weight Control Registry. You've tried what, Norman? The fiber? Yeah, I have a video. Fiber is very important, not just for weight loss, but just for longevity and health and nutrition. And Fiber One cereal, if you want something, if you're like me and you love processed foods, that's something else. I didn't gravitate towards natural, unprocessed foods. I love processed foods. That's not good to be that way. I hate to admit it, but I've never been a fruit and vegetable person. And that's terrible. So I have to force myself to eat fruits and vegetables. But the whole point I was trying to make is I like Fiber One cereal as far as the convenience of it. If you meaning me, really, I'm thinking about myself. Sometimes I have this just overwhelming feeling of hunger. Well, if you eat Fiber One cereal, a cup or two of it, believe me, you will not want to eat anymore. Yes, you're exactly right. Brand Dorito, we need to stop worrying about products. But that's how our society is. Everyone wants a quick fix. I had 2 surgeries for the loose skin. I had a brachioplasty, which is skin removal in my arms. I had huge, anyway. And then I had transverse abdominis, which I have 3 C-sections, and they used my C-section, so I didn't have yet another scar there. But it goes all the way around, because you can't go from this and lose 110 pounds in your mid 40s and not have loose skin. It's just impossible. And I had a lot. And I have pictures of the loose skin. Botanical Janet Marie. That's a neat name. I love botanical gardens. You also lost 10. Well, I've maintained it for 10 years. And what I think sets me apart, and I'm not trying to say that I'm great and other people aren't. I'm not. I'm very humble, actually. But what sets me apart from other people, yes, 110 pounds, is I talk about the psychology of weight loss. Thank you very much for saying that. If you struggled like me to lose weight, you can't just go on some diet or meal plan and then exercise and think, well, that'll be it. At least for me, that did not work. There had to be a lot more than that if it was going to last. A lot more. What was I going to do when I got upset? Which it seems like I got upset a lot about. I'm a very emotional person, raising 3 kids with an very abusive man. So I got upset a lot. Well, I ate my feelings to push my feelings down so that I would sort of numb myself. Plus, I have binge eating disorder. I eat in the middle of the night. It's called nocturnal eating syndrome. I'm a compulsive overeater. I mean, you name it, and I struggled with it. And people in my family weighed in the 400 and 500 pounds. My biology was stacked against me. And I never thought I would lose weight. No one thought I would. No one. And everybody knew how badly I wanted to lose weight. I was always trying to do something. Yes, it's called nocturnal eating syndrome if you want to. Wow, thank you. Thank you. It's called, I have pictures of them. The 400 and 500 pound people. Yes, is it Cry City by? It's called nocturnal eating syndrome, and it's when you awaken almost in a panic attack. And there's a lot of people that have this. I'm on a Facebook group, I haven't been on it in quite a while, of other people. And I used to talk to them about ways that I coped with nocturnal eating syndrome. And one of the ways that I eventually started coping with it is I put a chain with a lock on a second refrigerator that's in my garage. I mean, I had to go to great lengths to control myself. Oh, my earpiece. Did I eat? Wait, my uncle died. Hi, Waden. My uncle died last year due to a heart attack. Wow, 700 pounds. That's one of the highest I've ever heard. I'm sorry to hear that, Norman. That is, wow. Do I eat small meals now? No, I did not have gastric bypass. I figured out a way to control myself. And that was really difficult because I had so much professional help. I sought professional help. I spent all my money on professional help. I went to Weight Watchers, Overeaters Anonymous, Jenny Craig. Oh, what is it? There was something else that I did. When I was in college, I was in groups. And Overeaters Anonymous was a joke for me because I remember at the end, well, first I was so shy I could hardly talk, but I remember at the end of our meeting in OA, Overeaters Anonymous, everybody would go out and eat at a restaurant. And I don't know, I just thought that seemed so, if I had run that group, I think we should have all gone to bowl or all gone to do some kind of physical activity, not go out to eat. And so I didn't like Overeaters Anonymous. Great on what? Yeah, just wait till I have made my book. I'm going to find the grossest picture of myself. And then I'm 10 pounds heavier than I normally am. I'm normally leaner, but I always gain weight in the winter. I'm about 150 pounds now, but I'm very muscular. I don't know if you can tell. I'm just like a big ball of muscles. And I like it that way because we lose so much of our muscle as we age. So I'm not going to let that happen to me. Anyway, yes, it was ridiculous that we went out to eat. I don't know what you mean, White Lotus. I think that's a TV show, isn't it? I'm 5'6". Thank you. But look at, that was my uncle. He was a child psychiatrist. He specialized in anxiety in children in Boston. And I had so much respect for him. A really good man. He truly tried to help people. And I wanted to look decent and have him feel proud of me. And I was so ashamed of how I looked. And he's not alive anymore. But I wish he could have seen. Well, and I wear a size 4. But it's because I'm muscular. Ladies, when you're muscular, you can weigh a lot more and you can eat more and still maintain your physique. If you're muscular, you can't be afraid to lift weights. I love weightlifting. Botanical Girl chain. Yes, and this whole journey. Well, thank you. That's very sweet of you, Danny. Seemed you were gaining weight in that. Yes, I always thought I was a pear shape because you're right. I had a huge ass and my legs were enormous, but yet I always kind of had a waist, so I have other pictures and you can see how big my stomach was. And when my stomach got big, I knew my lower body. And so my sizes, I was a 20, well, actually when I got that fat, I was just a size 26 everywhere. Yeah, I was probably depressed, the person that said that about split ends. I got up to 250. That was when I stopped weighing myself. I don't think I got up much more than 250, but I remember thinking, why am I weighing myself? I don't even want to know. But yes, I gain weight in my lower body. And even now, I have big legs, and my butt isn't exactly little. But I like being muscular. I like having strong legs. I think it's our advantage. It's an advantage having strong legs. As we get older, I'm not going to be one of those little old women that have little pencil stick legs and they trip and break their hip. No, I have strong legs, and that won't happen to me. I want to be as strong as possible. No, I didn't have a tummy tuck. I had what's called a transverse abdominis, where they pulled up all that skin, and I had about 3.6 pounds of skin removed. So Tammy, it was basically like a tummy tuck, but it was more than that. My exercise routine has vastly changed as I've gotten older. What I've learned, it really doesn't matter what you do. Don't let yourself feel pigeonholed into thinking, oh, I have to do Pilates, or I have to do. You do what you enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to keep doing it. You need to do what you love. If it's hula hooping or roller skating or ice skating or just walking, whatever you enjoy is what you should do. And that's good enough. I'm 57. Do I cheat on who? I never cheated on anyone. I'm 57. No, oh, you mean my ex? No. I finally filed for divorce, and that's a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I'm going to get some water. Sorry. Realized how thirsty I am. And that's something else that I became cognizant of, is that I wasn't paying attention to myself. When I was raising my 3 sons, and I still have one with me, everything was for them. My whole life I made them first over all of my needs and wants. The music that we listened to was kids' music. The shows that we watched, kids' shows. I never went out with other women. I never had girls' night out, ever. And in the end, I realized that wasn't good. So, but I was like that because I had such a crummy childhood, and so I didn't want my kids to. I wanted to be a different kind of mom than what I had. But what I was trying to say is, you need to pay attention to yourself, how you feel. Are you thirsty? Are you hungry? Right, you have to take care of yourself to help others. You made me want to. Well, thank you, Mary. I wish we were friends. I wish I had girlfriends that, I need to be inspired too. And people think, and this is a generalization, but in general, people probably think, oh, well, she thinks she's so great and now she's got it made. No, I struggle every single day with my eating still. So it's not like you lose it, you fight to lose it. It took me 3 years. It's not like all of a sudden everything just clicks. It's a constant evolution. At least it was for me. But I have very profound eating issues. That's in this picture. In this picture, this is me and my uncle, who was a child psychiatrist. I don't know why I'm telling you guys that, but in his house in Gloucester, Boston. He lived on the ocean. He was a really good man. And but thank you, Mary. I was thinking about Oh, no, I wasn't diabetic. And diabetes is in my family. I don't know how I didn't become diabetic, but I had a lot of other issues that became that came out, so to speak, because of my obesity. I had fatty liver disease. I got sick constantly, and my doctor thought that it was because I was so heavy. I kept getting um, what is it, bronchial bronchitis, and wheezed, and but all of that went away after I lost weight. Well, thank you. Oh my gosh, his house was something. He lived right on the ocean. He was very well to do, but he's not alive anymore. Most importantly, he was a good man. That's what that's what matters, is your character. That's what matters. Um I did no, I naturally lost. Well, I take that back. I had a lap band, LAPBAND, and I don't know if you can see the scar right there, but it constricted my stomach. Um, I don't know. Women are kind of, I'm not going to say that, but um, I had a lap band for about 5 years. The lap band didn't change my brain. All of this knowledge that I have is from living it. It's from life experience. It's from over 3 decades of trying to lose weight and failing and what I've learned. The lap band didn't change my brain. All the lap band did was constrict my stomach. And I continued to overeat. And I threw up all the time. My oldest son used to say, I can hear it in my mind, Mama pit up again, Mama pit up again, telling my middle son that I was throwing up again. I remember throwing up in the garbage can in this big pantry we had. And because I didn't change my how I ate. I just had something around my stomach that prevented me from, and so I always felt kind of hungry. It was horrible. Lap band was horrible. And if you can change the way you think, you can succeed. It is not easy. It's not easy to do. It has to be extremely important, and you have to be willing to make sacrifices. But if I can, you can. And yes, I did snore. And if it's boring, please just go somewhere else. Go to someone else that inspires you. I don't want you to be bored. Thank you for saying that about my accomplishments as overeaters. We sometimes eat. Yes, that's exactly, yeah. Well, eating was my coping skill. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I never did drugs. I was not pretty, I was very clean living, very a goody goody, whatever you want to call it. Just very clean, decent human being. And I didn't do any of that. Not that there's anything wrong with drinking. I just didn't like drinking. So anyway, food was my go-to for everything. Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. Thank you for telling that person. I'm still not. Well, Patty, I would love to help you. I hope you follow me. And I'm trying to. I've been figuring out what outline I'm going to create for my book. And I was going to do a book about how to, but I decided what I'm going to do is just tell my story. Because maybe through telling my story about how I lost weight, maybe that will help other people understand themselves and what drives them and compels them and what their monsters or demons are. For me, overeating, I don't even take. Me too. Me too. Is it City By? I want to call you a name. I want to, but yes, me too. And when I would binge or overeat, whatever you want to call it, I would like go into a trance. And for people that don't have issues with food, that probably sounds strange, but it put me in a trance and it made me feel better. It was my escape from reality. I have had a lot of excess skin. I had to have two surgeries, Mary. I had them done at the same time. I was scared because it was a long surgery. But I had a brachioplasty, which is my arms. I don't know if you can, I think you can see that on both arms. And then I had what's called a 360 or transverse abdominis. And I had 3 C-sections, so that it's very low. They went all the way around my body and lifted up that skin. And that was a big deal. It's painful. I mean, there's no getting around it. Now, with the surgery, what was, besides the pain, was what I didn't like was the lymph bags that I had to wear and that had to be changed. Before I had that surgery, I didn't know people had to have lymph bags for their skin removal surgery. And I remember I couldn't wait to stop wearing the lymph bags. It was just, I didn't like it. My aunt acted the same and lost weight, but she was in prescription pills. Well, has she kept it off? Because if she used prescription pills and then just stopped, she's a very remarkable person if she was able to keep it off. That's my opinion, of course. But happy Black History Month to you too. I thought it was in January. I guess it is February. The time just passes so quickly. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, this is a picture of me with my uncle. I was in the 200s, and I'm showing you this to let you know if I can lose weight, you can too. What I'm looking at, I have all mounds of pictures to go through. Tell your biography. Your book will help so many. Juneteenth. What did I do? I took baby steps. T.T. Smith, I took baby steps because it was so daunting to me. I felt like such well, my husband used to tell me I was worthless, but I did feel worthless, that I couldn't lose weight and that I was so heavy and I was a bystander in my own life. I could hardly walk. It's like should be a movie, what I've been through. I literally wore a brace from my knee to the end of my toes just so I could walk. So I had to just walk. Very short walks when I was in my mid-40s and started to finally figure out, and I say figure out how to lose it. Started walking, then running, and cut out. That's the way to do it. Cutting out the processed foods, for me, is still very difficult. In the end, I don't know, he's a covert narcissist, and he would never admit something like, I don't want to have anything to do with him. All that matters is that you find an activity that you enjoy, some kind of exercise, whether it's roller skating, jumping rope, hula hooping, dancing, fitness classes. I mean, there's so many different ways to be active. Don't think that you have to do someone else's workout. You don't. Whatever you do has to be what you love, not what you think someone else does that works for them. What I do might be absolutely the wrong thing for you. You need to experiment and find out what you what you like. Thank you. Find out what you like, and then a variety of different kinds of activity, of course, is good for you. Now, weightlifting is non-negotiable for me. I lift weights a good 5 days out of the week, and I can feel the endorphins go to my brain almost immediately when I lift weights. I love lifting weights. I think it's fun to lift weights. At least I tell myself that. No, I'm not just saying that to myself. I really do love lifting weights, and I have a lot stacked against me with my biology of being so obese. But one good thing that I have is that I put on muscle very easily, and I can see results in the gym very quickly, which is pretty unusual for a female to put on muscle. I've had a lot of people think that I'm a fitness pro, and somebody the other day said I should do IFBB. I think I could do it if I really tried to. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but it's one of the good things that I do have is that I put on muscle easily. So you have to focus on your positive. Figure out what your strengths are, and you have to do a lot of soul searching. At least I did. It's very hard being overweight. Yes, I was depressed the entire time I was overweight. I had very little joy in my life except for my sons, and I made my entire life about my sons, which wasn't very smart for me because now they're all older and I have empty nest syndrome, and I wish I could do everything all over again, but I guess we all wish that. Where is my music? If you're just joining, this is a picture of me. Let's see, pull mask. I don't know what that person. This is a picture of me. I have so many other pictures. Of course, now that I'm on the spot, I put myself on the spot. Here I am. Now, someone was very smart earlier. Look at how weird my chin looks in this picture. Doesn't it look like my chin is moving in the picture? And people say to me, "Are you using a filter? Because your face is moving." No, I'm not using a filter, but for some weird reason, it does that glitching. But can you tell that's so weird? Yes, I had surgery. Anyway, you can see that I was rotund. Do you see how I can't even point to the right thing? I always thought I was a pear shape. I always was much bigger on the bottom than at the top. So for me to be that big at the top, look at my arms. I mean, my stomach. And you can see my butt was the biggest of all. I have had surgery, and I did have skin removal surgery. I did. And actually, there's another surgery that I want to do. And I've just had so much going on in my life that I haven't had. It's not a priority. Here's a picture of me when I was wearing my brace. Okay, here's a picture of me when I was wearing my brace. I know you can see it. And what it did to me was make me kind of walk like I had a peg leg, because my left foot and ankle collapsed when I had my second son. And so I couldn't move. I couldn't, we have our ankle bone, duh, of course. I couldn't move it. I had to just walk like I had a peg leg. Then my left calf atrophied because of that. I've had my left foot and ankle reconstructed 2 times. I was starting to talk about something. Thank you. I don't know if I have video of me when I had my brace or not, but thank you, Beefcake. But the reason, here I am visiting my uncle. That ring light makes it hard to see. For me, there are a lot of people that give excellent advice and have excellent information about weight loss. I tried to lose weight for over 3 decades. I'm actually a very intelligent person, and I'm very driven, and I was successful in other areas of my life, very successful. Yet, despite incredible desire to lose over 100 pounds, I couldn't do it. What does that tell you? It told me something was inherently wrong, and I knew it was. And there was more to it, far more to it, than just following a meal plan and exercising. And when I was 45, I told myself this was going to be the last time that I was going to do this. I felt so battered, and I felt so battered and defeated, depressed. I mean, I don't want to bring people down, but I'm brutally honest. I'm an extremely honest person. So anyway, I took micro baby steps, and I say micro baby because they weren't just baby steps. They were itty bitty changes that I could tolerate, because you can't go from this to be a normal weight. It's not like all of a sudden I knew how to eat, I knew how to cope with life and the world and my compulsions and being upset or angry or eating my emotions. It's not like just all of a sudden I just figured it all out. No, I created new habits very, very, very slowly, that were so slowly I could tolerate it. And I say tolerate because it was very painful for me to lose weight. I love eating. I love it. If someone put a bag of goldfish crackers, I would inhale 2 bags very quickly. I used to do that. So I had to figure out a lot of things in order to be able to lose weight and keep it off. It sure would have been nice if I hadn't been so heavy here. I'm sure I would have been a much happier person. That's my oldest son. It's really very sad. I mean, my life has been pretty tragic, to be honest. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to be a healthy weight. It's not like I wanted to be skinny. I didn't want to be skinny. I just wanted to be healthy. I just wanted to be able to walk and go to amusement parks and be able to sit, oh, thank you, and be able to sit in the roller coaster seat and the other seats. And you know when I went on an airplane, I didn't want to have to ask the flight attendant for, the lengthener for your seatbelt. I didn't, that's humiliating. I hated it. I hated it. And for someone to want to lose it so badly and to be so knowledgeable and to have spent a great deal of time energy and money, and yet I was not successful. What meals did you eat? Mary, the way I did it at first is very... I don't even know if I should tell you because it's so unorthodox and nothing I'd ever read. I finally listened to myself. I finally listened to my internal dialogue. I knew I wasn't going to all of a sudden be able to enjoy Brussels sprouts and broccoli. There's no way I was going to eat foods like that, to go from all that processed food and chocolate and cookies and ice cream sandwiches and ice cream. I don't even want to think about all of that. But to go from that to eating healthfully, impossible for me. Impossible. Thank you very much. And if you want to, Mary, I'll tell you privately something that I did that I'll put in my book, but I'm not going to say it here. I'm just not. But what I'm trying to say is listen to yourself. So how do I feel now? It's wonderful. And I'm still amazed every day that I'm not heavy. And I still feel like I need to wear a jacket to cover up my big butt like I used to when I go out in public, because my waist was pretty, you can't be 250 pounds and have a waist. But compared to the rest of my body, I had a small waist. So I would tie a black jacket. I can still see it in my mind's eye. And I would tie the black jacket and make it as tight as I could to try to accentuate what little waist I had. And then I would have it hang, thinking that, I was concealing it. People didn't really know how big I was. That was kind of what I told myself. I did it. It took me 3 years to lose 110 pounds. I developed not only new habits, but new ways of thinking about myself, life, everything. I completely changed a great deal of things in my life, and I created an alter ego to define in my mind the good part of my brain, the healthy part of me that had all this knowledge about how I should live, how I should eat, and what I should do to maintain the weight loss. So in my mind, I split the healthy part of me from the unhealthy part of my brain. That was definitely inherent, biological. I was born that way. And I call that my monster. And the monster character, alias, whatever you want to call it, is very developed in my mind's eye. And I say that because it was profound in my weight loss. It gave me, instead of rebelling against myself, so to speak, I rebelled against this bad part of me that I call my monster. Put her away. Put her in the dungeon. Put her in jail. She's not who I am. She's not who I want to be. She's some part of my brain that was born that way, that sabotaged me. So how do I put that in a book? It's hard to explain things like that. Yeah, I've done all of it. My gosh, I don't know what I haven't done. It doesn't work. I was the same way. I wanted to think that I could pop a pill or there'd be some magical, easy way. There's not. Those things aren't going to do it. You have to work on your brain. The apple cider vinegar, if it works for you, try it. I did it. It didn't do it. Magnesium didn't do it. A tremendous amount of fiber. I forced myself to eat this. It was in a plastic container of fiber so that I would make myself full. None of it worked. It didn't work. It wasn't sustainable, is what I'm trying to say. It was not sustainable. I had to do the very difficult work of figuring out why. Why can't I lose weight? What was sabotaging me? That's a lot of work for someone that's been morbidly obese for over 3 decades. Just thinking about it is overwhelming. And I say it not to brag, but because I want people to know that even if you have a serious weight problem and you have for years, there actually is hope. There really is. And something that I don't understand myself. Well, thank you for saying that, Mary. Something that I don't understand, and I don't want to offend anybody, but they say that, I read sometimes they say that obesity is a disease. Well, I was obese for over 33 years. If it was a disease, how did I eradicate that so-called disease? It's not a disease. It's not, I can't say that about everybody. There are definitely people that have hormonal issues or Prader-Willi syndrome. At times I thought I had Prader-Willi syndrome, which is, look it up, it's really fascinating. It's P-R-A-T-E, it's either D-E-R or T-E-R, and then hyphen Willi, W-I-L-L-I, syndrome. And those people, unfortunate people that have it, literally cannot stop eating. And whoever they live with, literally they have to chain the refrigerator shut because Prader-Willi people cannot stop eating. It's very sad. But, well, thank you for saying that. I lived it. Yes, and definitely hereditary for me. I have ancestors. Well, shoot, I have pictures of them. I should put that in my book. Of these 2 brothers that are my great uncles that have had overalls on. I'm seeing them in my mind's eye, the picture. And they were between 400 to 500 pounds is what my mom told me, because I couldn't tell how much they weighed in the picture. I just knew they were, they looked like they could literally be hooked up to a horse or like a big wagon and work on a field and be like the workhorse. They were so enormous. And I have a lot of that in my family. So some people have it a lot harder than others, and it's far more difficult, and it's not fair. It's not fair at all, but that's just the way it is. We all have advantages and disadvantages in life, and you have to figure out what your advantages are and try to find ways to help yourself with those advantages. For instance, I was saying earlier that I put on muscle easily, very easily, which is pretty rare, even for men. But I can go to the gym and I can tell the next day that I'm more muscular. And I don't know what it is, how I'm like that. I don't take creatine or anything, and it's just genetic. I know who I got it from. So I definitely lift weights. Muscle is gold. And women, for some reason, now it's becoming more, I've noticed in the younger generations, weightlifting with females is becoming more and more accepted. But I'm 57 years old, and most women my age don't lift weights. But that's a big secret to maintaining a weight loss, is lifting weights. Lifting weights gives you many advantages in life. We lose quite a bit of bone density and muscle as we age, and I can't believe that left such a big indentation on me. I must be holding on to water. But definitely, I agree. Some can be or is hereditary. Oh, I was showing this picture earlier. This picture of me I'm standing next to my uncle. And if someone like this, who was obese for decades, can lose weight, others can too. And my whole message is not about meal plans or exercise or counting calories or macros. That's something people, 10, 20 years ago, I never heard that. Macros. For me and to me, it's all about psychology. Yeah, I haven't been on live that often, but it's the truth. And if you can control your mind, then you can control your life. I couldn't control my mind when it came to eating. I could control my mind about my career, about my sons, about a multitude of other things, life goals that I had. I could do what I wanted to, but for some reason I couldn't control my brain when it came to eating. I have multiple severe issues with eating. And so for me, I had to figure out ways to control myself because I was out of control. I couldn't control myself despite my best intentions. I could not. And I think a lot of people experience that. Life is hard. Life is not easy for anyone. And a lot of us use food as a coping mechanism. It's something to look forward to. It makes us happy. It makes us feel good. It doesn't talk back to us. I started overeating when I was 11, and my mom would leave me alone while she went on dates the whole weekend. And it was just me, food, and the TV. And that's when I really started to turn to food, was when Mom left me alone. And I remember I was scared. She shouldn't have done that. Anyway, I remember looking at my arms. Was it my arms, my shoulders? I can see it in my mind. And I was getting all these stretch marks. And anyway, if you have the biology, the genes that predispose you to obesity, and then the right environment, which I definitely had because I was left alone at a very young age, and all I had was food and the television. And of course, I did read. I read a lot, but at night I was always scared, and so I had the TV on to keep me company, and then my food. Thank you for saying that. Food companies put in chemicals that affect the brain. Yes, they do. And I didn't know that until a few years ago. They definitely do. And I can feel it with processed foods. And it makes me angry that happens. How dare they do that to me? Not, I'm just telling you my dialogue with myself. You have to protect yourself almost like you protect a child that you love that needs to be protected. That's how you have to think of yourself. Well, thank you. It is a huge problem. Somebody told me the other day that our country is the fattest country in the world. We have the most percentage of people that are obese, and we have the most gyms in the world. Yet we still have the highest percentage of obese people in the world. So why is that? It's because people can't control themselves. They don't know how to control their food intake. Life is hard. A lot of people use food to cope. It makes you feel good. I could feel it go to my brain. It was like an instant antidepressant for me. And when I would overeat, I would go into a trance. And I remember just staring into space and going like this. And I didn't want anybody to interrupt me because it was like a brain orgasm almost. And I know that sounds weird, but it made my brain feel so good. And I just wanted to stay like that. And then when I got done eating, I remember thinking, what happened to all the food? I didn't even taste it. So, isn't that ridiculous? Yeah, I think the U.S. is depressed after everything we've been through with, oh my gosh. I don't have to tell you what we've been through. Mine isn't overeating. I have a sweet tooth too. And the way you deal with that is you don't let yourself have that in the house. You can't go grocery shopping. No, I'm not saying you can't. But my rule is I don't go grocery shopping when I'm hungry because I will lie to myself and I will trick myself. That sounds dumb, but it's the truth. And I'll say to myself, oh, I'll just eat one or two of those. That's all I want. I'll let my son eat the rest. I'm really buying them for him. Do you know how many times I've done that in my life? Then I go home, or even in the car, I'll start eating that food before I even get home. And then I'll get so angry with myself that I did that, but then I did it again and again and again and again and again. And so I feel more and more defeated and disgusted with myself. So you shouldn't go, you have to establish ground rules for yourself. And it's wise not to go grocery shopping when you're hungry. Otherwise, people tend to make poor choices. I have been through a lot. Thank you. I appreciate it. Americans are sedentary. Our children don't play outside anymore. Electronics. I agree, and I find it frightening. And I don't know what's going to happen to us as a society. I think of the movie, wasn't it WALL-E, where everybody was like laying back and they would just like use their fingers to push buttons for like an ice cream, like milkshake. And wasn't that WALL-E that I'm thinking of? And I remember when I watched that movie, I thought, I can see that happening in the future because it's people tend to gravitate towards what is easiest. And it's easy to push a button. We all seek pleasure, all of us. We're pleasure seeking. Humans are pleasure seeking, and we tend to want to do as little as possible. That's just human nature. So you have to figure out strategies for yourself to keep yourself in control. It's get off your rear end and get active. I know people have certain ailments that don't help out. I have a lot of ailments. I frequently think, boy, if I told people all the things that I have wrong with me, they probably wouldn't even believe me. And then it might make them feel badly that they don't do anything and they have far fewer problems. And so then I think, I'm telling you my thought process, and I think, so don't say all these things because, so what I'm telling you is I have a lot of physical issues that make it very difficult for me to exercise and move, serious issues. But I do anyway, because what's the alternative? I'm not going to let myself put all that weight back on. No way. It's a fight, and I am going to win. I will win. And that's how you have to think about it. You will win. You will do whatever it takes, and you will win. Oh, I love dark chocolate. What age did I start? Well, I started working. I remember my mom sent me to this summer school class. It was at Rice University in Houston, and I don't know why they had a weightlifting class, but they did. And that was when I recognized that I love lifting weights, and I'm stronger than all the other girls. How is it that I can lift so much more weight than all the other girls? And I know I had low self-esteem, but that was something that I could cling on to that made me feel, like we all want to feel like we're special, that something about us is special. And so up until then, I didn't feel like I had anything special about me. So then when I recognized that I put on muscle really easily and that I'm extremely strong naturally, well, that made me happy. And I have lifted weights on and off since I was 11. Now, when I was really heavy like this and this, I didn't lift weights. I could hardly move. And I made my sons the priority over, I prioritized all of their needs and wants. There were three, I have three sons, over me. I was the last person I thought about. If I was hungry, I did eat all the time. But I didn't really take care of myself. I made my sons the most important thing in my life. My whole life revolved around my sons. And that was not wise on my decision. I didn't know. I had a pretty crummy childhood, and I wanted to give them everything that I didn't have, and I overindulged them is what I ended up doing. I lost 44% of my body weight. I lost 110 pounds. If you look at the link in my bio, I'm the #1 featured success story on the National Weight Control Registry. I was interviewed by Bloomberg News for their podcast series, Losing It. I'm featured in that podcast. It's connected to my bio. You can hear me talking. The whole series, if you're serious about losing weight or you know someone that wants to lose weight, listen to it. It's free. Why would you not? Listen to it. Do something good for yourself. Love yourself. I don't get anything out of, I have to turn the fan on. I don't get anything out of telling people about that podcast. I get nothing except the pleasure of knowing maybe I've helped someone not suffer like I did for so long. Great work on personal trainer certified. Wow. I hope you follow me, and I'm looking for someone to help me with my book, and I don't know exactly who I need. I don't know if I need and maybe I don't need anyone, but I'm a perfectionist, and that's people that have obesity problems frequently are perfectionists, and everything has to be just right. I always thought, well, if I don't do this just this way, and if I overeat this or that, or it's not exactly how I wanted, then I got fixated on that, and it just blew, it blew it. I just blew it. Forget it. I'll start over again, and I would even start it at like midnight, exactly midnight, and all these compulsions and dumb mind games and rules that I made for myself. It was ridiculous. In reality, I know now that I didn't want to face the fact that I just couldn't control myself. And these were all ways for me to think that maybe I could control myself, but in reality, I couldn't control myself. Let's see how many. I got up to 250, I believe, at my heaviest. And I say I believe because I didn't weigh myself. When you get that big, at least me, I was so ashamed of myself. I was so embarrassed and disgusted that I couldn't control myself, that I sort of like block things out because it was so horrible to me. I wanted to lose weight more than anything in the world. I did not want to be skinny ever. I always wanted to be strong and muscular. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to be able to have a real life, that I could swim with my sons, or I could go to an amusement park with my sons and fit in the seats, or just go anywhere and not have people look at me because I was so big. And then when you have a brace on top of it, I just looked like this pathetic. It was just awful. I really suffered a lot. This is not that great of a picture. Now, my ex-husband lifted weights. He was a big guy, so I don't know if you can tell how big I was. For being that big, I think I had pretty legs. But that's the brace. I had to wear shoes that were 2 sizes too big so that I could wear the brace. It kept my ankle from bending. And I kind of walked like this. I couldn't walk very well. And so my left calf atrophied. It's never been the same. How did I lose the weight? I didn't lose the weight until I was in my mid-40s. It took me 3 years, and I figured out how to control my mind is the best way for me to say it, because I did everything under the sun, including surgery to try to lose weight. None of it worked. Nothing. All the time, energy, and money that I spent trying to figure out how to lose weight, none of it mattered. It wasn't until And I saw professionals, I saw counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists. I was in groups with other people that wanted to lose weight, were, support groups, Overeaters Anonymous, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. Jenny Craig even had meetings. Now, Jenny Craig, I thought, was the best out of all of them. When I reflect now, now I can, it's completely different reflecting. But Jenny Craig really taught people how to live, to stay healthy. They didn't so much talk about the psychological component of it, which was very big for me. But out of all of the weight loss programs, I thought that Jenny Craig was definitely the best one by far. What? I wasn't that. No, I was 110 pounds heavier in that picture. I'm not sure I understand. I can tell that you built muscle and burned fat. Yeah, it was hard to do. Anybody that tells you that it's not is lying. What point? I had a lot of things that happened. My gallbladder almost exploded. You could see it sticking out. It was so big. I remember the surgeon saying I was lucky I didn't die. But my ex-husband, I should have been taken to the emergency room one night. I knew that something really bad was happening to me. I didn't know what. And I waited as long as I could because I knew not to ask him, not to wake him up. He was a very mean, cruel man. And I knew that if I awakened him, that I was going to have hell to pay. So I waited as long as I could, and my gallbladder was, I don't know what the right words are. Anyway, so I finally did awaken him, and I could barely talk. And I told him I needed, please take me to the emergency room. And he wouldn't do it. And he stuffed Tums and Rolay, literally just shoved them in my mouth. And then I went to the bathroom and I threw up and I ended up passing out. And I remember being on the floor with my vomit and my cat getting in my hair and the vomit. And then I knew, I'm so smart. I finally realized, hey, this marriage isn't going to work because he's not going to, that was very abusive and cruel. I could have died on the floor that night. I was very lucky I didn't. And he still wouldn't take me to the emergency room. Well, I'm not going to go into that. But so I actually had a lot of things that happened, not just that. I'm going to turn the fan on. In the end, no, I have stretch marks. In the end, you look very healthy. You take care. I sure try to, but it's not always easy. And I'm sure not perfect. I don't have a filter. In the end, you have to find your reason for wanting to lose weight to be healthy. It's not what my reasons are. It's what's important to you. Why do you want to be a healthy weight? Why is it important to you? What's the reason? That's what you have to think about. And I don't have a filter. If I had a filter, you would see fake eyes or eyelashes, whatever. There's something weird about it when you're on live and I'll show you, where it makes your chin look like it's moving. And I don't know what that is, but I saw it when I was holding up a picture. I saw of course now I'll do it and it won't do it, but those dumb ring lights. Do you see it where it looks like my chin is moving, like it's going up and down? Anyway, there's something with when you go live. I don't know why. Who cares? You guys have asked some excellent questions. You really have. Alcoholics Anonymous? No, I've never really I don't care about alcohol. I never have liked it. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Now, I did go to Overeaters Anonymous, Jack, which follows the 12-step program. But as I was saying earlier, I didn't like OA, Overeaters Anonymous. I felt like they were, to me, it was like everybody, we would sit in a circle, and all these people were huge. And I felt like when they talked, it was all their excuses, and no one really seemed to be taking action. And then at the end of the meeting, everybody would go out to eat at a restaurant. I didn't like that. I thought, why don't we do an activity, something active afterwards instead of going out to eat? So I wouldn't go out to eat with them. I was stubborn and I wouldn't go out to eat with them. And anyway, I didn't go to that group that long because I didn't think they definitely didn't help me. I was looking for more than that. Thank you, WTC Dog. Too many people these days are praising obesity. I agree. And it is sad because in the end, those people will just die early. And thank you. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, I'm not trying. I never wanted to be skinny. I personally don't like skinny. I like people with some meat on them. You know, I like muscular people that, all my sons are pretty muscular naturally, and that's just what I gravitate towards. Is I love muscle. I know how healthy it is. I know how important it is to have muscle. Muscle is gold. You saw me. Thank you I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel, and I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers, but I don't have nearly enough watch hours. So I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe. I have a lot more content on YouTube than I do on here. I started out actually on YouTube and then eventually came to TikTok. It wasn't a tummy tuck. It was what's called a transverse abdominis. And if you want the surgeon's name, I'd be happy to give his name to you and where he is. Send me a message on my latest video. And if you really are serious, I'd be very happy to give you all the information. I vary my workouts, Jack. Today, I think it's important that we do a variety of different activity. Today, I played pickleball with my son. And we went to my gym and we played with a bunch of other people. And I had a blast. And it was fun. That's what's important. You have to do things that you like. Things that you look forward to. I couldn't wait to play pickleball, and I didn't want it to end. Well, I was active. That was my cardio today, and then I lifted weights at home tonight. So that's what I did today. The day before that, I went to my gym and did my back back and triceps is what I did, not yesterday, the day before that. The day before that, I did legs in the gym. So I try to, thank you. I've been told that about Raquel Welch. Poor Raquel Welch. I felt, I think she was a genuinely kind, good, very nice person, sincere person. But what I'm trying to get across to you is you do what you like. What do you enjoy? What activities do you like? That's what you should do. Not what I do. What do you like to do? I'm 57. Thank you for saying young. That's very kind of you. I don't always feel so young, especially on TikTok, which is very much dominated by younger generations. And I wish more people my age were on TikTok. So I'd appreciate it if you'd follow me on YouTube and TikTok. Well, thank you. That's very sweet of you, Michelle. I appreciate it. I just got a message. I've been live for 90 minutes now. I should take a break. Well, I actually enjoy this. It makes me happy to think that I'm giving other people hope and inspiration to let you know it can be done. You sound, well, thank you. It's a subject that I've lived since I was 11. If you read my bio, I'm the #1 featured success story on the National Weight Control Registry. And if you read the bio, I wrote for the National Weight Control Registry, which is highly respected. That's how Bloomberg News found me, was the National Weight Control Registry, and they did my interview for the podcast. But I've lived this since I was 11, and it's many years of life experience. It's not just that I went on a diet or had surgery to make me lose weight. This has been my life. And, when I think about it, I think, well, how crappy is that? Why couldn't I have had something else that's like my claim to fame? Who wants to? But then, that's just the way it was and is. And if I can help, I suffered so much. Why does my face look like that? I suffered so much, and if I can help other people realize and recognize, you don't have to be trapped in your body. You don't have to feel hopeless like I did. There are ways to deal with this. There's a lot you can do. Yeah, I agree. Wit Dog, I got on live and I was poking around a few minutes before I went on live myself, and every woman I saw on live had OnlyFans. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they're all just using it as a platform to have people gravitate to OnlyFans, and I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people on here that have tremendous knowledge, great information, but I do know what you're saying. Hi, Florida. How are you? How's the weather, Tony? Is it warm in Florida right now? Anyone want some gum? And then gum has always been a big struggle for me. I have an obsession with bubble gum. The kind of bubble gum 65. And it's warmer here. It got up to about 75 or 80 today. And I loved it. But this gum is sweetened with xylitol, xylitol, which doesn't make me sick to my stomach like regular sugar-free gum. And then it doesn't have the sugar that creates some kind of domino effect in my brain when I have that simple sugar in bubble gum. It's like an immediate. Sorry, I'm getting all the good yummy out of this gum. It created some kind of a domino, or I just couldn't stop eating the gum. So I know I can't buy that bubble gum. I can't even let myself go down the candy aisle. I do sometimes. I'll lie to myself and say, oh, I'm just going to look and see if there's anything different. Maybe they have coffee nips this time. They don't normally carry coffee nips, which I love. And I'll buy the coffee nips and put them in my food safe. Well, I would eat every coffee nip in the box the minute I got it. So it's just best to eliminate the temptation in the first place. Just don't even look at it. That's how I think. I can't look at it. If I look at it, then I want it. And then I'll go over to the bubble gum and I'll pick the big bag of bubble gum up and smell it. And I like the tactile sensation of squishing the bubble gum. I know I'm strange or whatever, but so be it. So I've learned, just don't go down the candy aisle. That's the best. I'm in Texas. That's the best way. Can you tell how much I love this gum? That's the best way to deal with it. For me, just avoid the temptation. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see what I feel like I shouldn't have or don't want to put in my body. Why should I do that to myself? Taste is temporary. You're right. But boy, it sure is nice when you have it. You know, Hi there. It might be temporary, but unless you, I know what you're saying, obviously. You know that expression, a moment on the lips, forever on the hips. That's an old expression that I heard my whole life. Well, I knew it. I knew that expression from a very early age. But it's not like it did anything. It's not like I thought, oh, a moment on the lips, forever on the hips. Well, I'm not going to eat that then. Well, no, that didn't do anything for me. Yes, it's all true. But implementing all the things that you know, knowing and doing are two different things. Knowing and doing are two different things. Hi, Tikato. How are you? Tikato. Again, what I always said for years, I've said it, even before I lost weight. Knowing and doing are very different. And I know people know that what I'm saying is true. Oh, that was good. So, for me anyway, despite a tremendous amount of knowledge, a tremendous amount of desire, a tremendously strong will, I couldn't lose weight. I couldn't. And it killed me, and it made me so angry that I couldn't just be normal like everybody else. It just pissed me off. And so one of the many things that I did, I used that anger to help control my monster. I'll say it again. I used that anger, the anger of missing out on so much of life. It's very tragic, honestly. I am blatantly honest. It was tragic that I missed out on so much of life because I was so obese. So, knowing and doing are very different. You too. It was nice meeting you too, Whit. And I might sound really emotional and dramatic. I don't know how I come across. I really don't. But if I do, it's because I've lived this for decades. It's what I know more than anything else in life is I finally have figured out how to control my brain so that I can enable myself to be the weight that I want to be. And that can be very difficult to control your brain. Well, thank you. Please shout out. Hi, Bree and Joe. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate it. I'm overly sensitive, and that's always been kind of a problem for me, is that my feelings got hurt so easily, and didn't feel things that shouldn't hurt my feelings probably did. I don't know, maybe I'm being hard on myself, but I used food to cope with everything. So my wife buys chocolate chip cookies, and I can't do that. Get them out of the house. And if you put them in the garbage, which I've done many times, I will go back later and get them out of the garbage and eat them. So what I would say is, if you love me, you will get them out of the house, or you'll do something so I don't know where they are. That's what I would say to I would say, whatever her name is, please, you know that I struggle with this. Could you please put them someplace where I don't know where they are, or put them out in the garbage bin and empty them out of the bag so that they get dirty. They get mixed up with the garbage. That's what I've actually done that before. Oh, brother. Okay. I scroll down. Okay. Oh, the gun show. I need to do I haven't done my biceps. I say done. I mean, what a layman way to talk. So what? I haven't done my biceps in about a week. You need a new wife. Yeah. It makes it much more difficult if your spouse isn't on the same page as you. So much more difficult if you have to be the spouse that is always trying to eat healthfully and that is always the one that tries to be active. That gets old. That gets difficult because sometimes I feel weak and sometimes I need help too. And I'm not always strong mentally. And so who you're around definitely can affect you. Flex is hard. Well, I haven't done my biceps in a while, so I have an ego about my muscles. Well, thank you. That's very sweet of you. When I was a kid, I got really mad. I was really sensitive. Me too. And I don't like being so sensitive. I never have, but it's not like I can change it. You know, how do you change that? School of Hard Knocks. I've had a lot of things happen, and I'm probably not as sensitive as I used to be, but I'm still more sensitive, I think, than most people, and I don't like being that way. I pick up on things that other people don't, and anyway, I don't have a filter. If I had a filter, it would look like I had eyelashes on my eyes. I've seen people with filters on here, and it's so funny because you can tell that they have a filter when they like hold a cup or do something, and then you can see the fake eyelashes and all of that. But I don't have a filter on. Thank you. I love muscle. Muscle is gold. Muscle is very important. I'm sensitive too, but my sensitivity turns to anger. I can relate to that very well. But you can harness that anger and use it to your advantage. You just have to know how. That's what I did. I can bring up that anger in myself whenever I want to compel me and motivate me to do what I want to. That's a good synopsis for one of my many strategies. I remember all of the hurt and all of the pain, and I use it to compel me and drive me, and I hold it in my mind and fixate on it. And I'm, say for instance, I'm really struggling in my workout in the gym and I'm feeling weak. I'll remember some of the things that I've gone through, and it might sound dumb, but it helps me to continue. It helps motivate me. But we're all different. Some people may not like that or may not want to do that. I use it every day in the gym and every night in the boxing ring. Good for you. And I use it in the military. It can be extremely powerful. We can do whatever we want to if we can control our minds. Shouldn't lead with angers. Well, no, I please don't misinterpret. I never said lead. I am a very loving, kind person, and I'm not an angry person. But when I need that anger to compel myself, motivate myself to do some physical activity, or you know what I'm saying. I know you do. She is thin, has sugar. Who is thin and sugar? I don't understand. I did have surgery. How long were you down into? I had that surgery in I think it was 20, I'd be guessing, but I think it was around 2014. I think it was 2014. I need to get all those records out. It was expensive. My mom paid for it. I didn't have any money. And I don't remember how long I was out of it, but probably a couple of months, because I had a brachioplasty on both arms. I'm showing you my scars. That's what I'm doing. I was so afraid that my scars would be thick because I remember looking at pictures of people that had brachioplasties and their scars were really thick on their arms. And I was terrified is an exaggeration, but I was very concerned that I would have big, thick scars on my arms. And thankfully, I don't. And I think it's a combination of a great surgeon, and I was a very compliant patient. I put BioSilk on my arms, on my scars constantly. He told me to do that. And I did what I was supposed to and got lucky, I guess. I don't know. But you can finance it. There's something called Care Credit, which is basically a credit card for medical procedures. I think you can use it even at a dentist's office. Thank you. I appreciate it. I sound like I'm from the South, really? I didn't think I had an accent, but maybe I do. I'm going to turn my fan off. I was showing these pictures earlier. Here's a picture of me with my uncle, who I love dearly. I wanted so badly for him to be proud of me. And I felt like I was embarrassed that he lived in Boston and I'm in Texas, and I didn't see him very often in my life, and I was so ashamed for him to see me like that. I was really very sad and embarrassed because I was successful in other areas in my life, but I could not control my food intake. I couldn't control myself. And I don't know. I just remember how I felt. Now my sons watch Dragon Ball Z. It's been on in my house a lot. My YouTube is Determined Zone on YouTube, or if you look at I'm seeing it in my mind. Look at the top of my home screen and you'll see a link, and it has a link to YouTube and Instagram and the National Weight Control Registry and my Bloomberg News interview and my YouTube channel. But I'm Determined Zone on all social media. How did I do it? I did it very slowly and took baby steps. It took me about 3 years to lose 110 pounds, and it was the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of things in my life, and it was by far the most difficult thing I've ever done. Speaks about what you said in regards to... Oh, really? I didn't know that. Davo. That's interesting. But that's a cartoon, right? I didn't know. I thought that was a kid's cartoon. I didn't know that they had information or talked about things like that. Like I always say, if you can control your mind, you can control just about everything that you want to in your life, your goals. But I couldn't control my food intake, despite a tremendous amount of money I spent, time, energy, fortitude. I couldn't do it. Now, granted, I would lose 10, 20, sometimes 50 pounds. In particular, I'm thinking of a trip to Spain when I was married that my husband won, and we went to Spain. And I remember I thought, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to go to Spain that big. And so I was really, I remember that really well. I was just determined that I was going to get down to a decent weight when we went to Spain. And I did lose like 50 pounds. And I was so proud. I have pictures. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about those pictures. But then I gained it back when I came home. You watched it when you were a kid. I watched Scooby-Doo when I was a kid. I love Scooby-Doo. And Josie and the Pussycats and Fat Albert. I love Fat Albert. and Land of the Lost, all of those. Your 60 pounds will follow me, and I'll try to help you. But the whole premise of the show is using pain in your life to transform. Really? That's interesting, Davo. I didn't know that. Hello, I currently lost 56 pounds since the last year. I'm now, well, good for you. Congratulations. That's wonderful. No special diet, none. I don't personally believe in any special diet. I get turned off when I hear keto and all of that. The only healthy diet, if you talk to any doctor who is with it or knows what he's talking about, is the Mediterranean diet. And that's just certain, it's just like what it sounds. Fish, vegetables, they even drink some wine. I don't drink wine, but that's what I try to eat. I try to eat salmon 3 times a week. I don't always, I almost never do that much, but I try anyway. But no special diet. When it comes down to it, I'll tell you a secret. All it is calories in versus calories out. That's it. You don't need any special diet or pill or anything. Those are all ways people are making money off of you. It makes me mad when I see that, because people think they have to do all these special diets. You don't have to. All you have to do is eat less than your body requires to maintain the weight you are, and you will lose weight. The problem for me is that I couldn't control myself. I felt too hungry all the time. I was always hungry. I gained 40 pounds in 2 months. Well, it will probably take you at least 2 months to lose it. And you can't be impatient. That's something that I learned the hard way. I felt like in my mind, I told myself, okay, I'm ready. I'll do whatever, but come on, the weight needs to come off now. I don't want to deal with that. I just want it to, and that's not how it works. So I had to preoccupy my mind in other ways so that I could feel content during this very lengthy transformation and new way of life, a new way of thinking about myself, my self-talk, my goals. There's so much to it. For me, there was so much to it. The apple cider vinegar gummies, there's a Bob and Brad video. I'm sure a lot of you know who Bob and Brad is. Well, you're welcome. They have a video about apple cider vinegar, and they say, and I like Bob and Brad, and I watched that video, and I did do the vinegar about a year ago, and I felt like it probably helped me lose a couple of pounds. But I don't know if that was a placebo. I don't know if that, it's not, it can't hurt you, I don't think, so why not try it? But no, I'm not a doctor. I come from a family of doctors, but I am not a doctor. Yes, a new life. I'm working on it. Do the core foods work? Well, the best foods for us as humans is unprocessed foods. And that was very difficult for me to deal with because I was addicted to processed foods. I still like processed foods. I'll be honest, I had a can of wolf chili for dinner. It was fast, easy, high in protein. I wanted something that was comforting. My mom used to make wolf chili with grated cheese when I was growing up. What am I saying? Make. She opened up a can. But it's comforting to me. And I hadn't eaten, it was like 510 calories, I think, which fits in with my day. So I'm not always, that's not that bad. You have to be reasonable. Otherwise, for me, if I'm not reasonable with myself, then I set myself up for failure. I can't beat myself up because it just leads to more failure. You have to be kind to yourself. I had to figure out that I don't think I loved myself. And that's why, one of the reasons that I don't think I could lose weight. And it took me, thank you, I am very self-aware. I've had counselors tell me that they couldn't believe how the degree of introspection that I have. And I don't know, to me that's normal, but I work out of my house, and I actually, now you may not believe it. I probably wouldn't believe it if somebody told me, but I don't know what I would think. But I have a mini-series documentary that's going to be coming out in, I don't know exactly. The cinematographer doesn't know yet, but it hopefully will be out either on Netflix or Amazon, and it has nothing to do with my weight loss. So that's one of my, I have my finger in a lot of different pies. I sell on eBay, I sell on Etsy. If you want to buy things on eBay, I have a lot I'd like to sell. And I'm trying to write my book about my weight loss. And the hunger was a big problem. And it still is, Jack. Fiber One cereal, eating a lot of fiber, apples. Look up high fiber foods. Try to incorporate those foods in your diet daily. And I remember when I read a book about fiber, and I thought, when I first started reading, I thought, well, that's stupid. I'm not going to lose weight. I mean, why is fiber so, have all these internal dialogues, but I read the book, and then I realized, I just didn't know. So fiber is critical for our longevity, our microbiome, and our health, and being satiated. So in one of my videos, it might be corny, but I show special, what is it called? Fiber One cereal, and I really do that. It doesn't taste that good. Although my 18-year-old likes it, which I find bizarre. What 18-year-old likes, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. But Fiber One cereal helps me deal with my hunger. I wake up in the night a lot. I have nocturnal eating syndrome, which a couple of years ago, I'd have been embarrassed to admit that. I don't care anymore. I really don't. I know other people suffer with that. Why shouldn't I tell you? But I wake up in the night almost like a panic attack, and I have to eat to go back to sleep. And it's more common than you would think. At night, you too? Well, and if you are not a medical, I'm not telling people what to do. I'm telling them what I did to lose weight. I'm not telling people what to do. What does fiber do? You are wrong about fiber. It satiates you. Look it up for yourself. Don't believe me. Look it up. I'm trying to help people. If you look at my bio, the link in my bio, I actually do have credentials that I'm not just making this up. I'm a very rare specimen that has achieved something that I was told by Bloomberg News. The odds of me losing that weight and keeping it off for 10 years is less than 1%. If someone had told me that when I started out, that my odds of losing weight and keeping it off, or just losing it, were less than 1%, I don't think I would have done it. I'd rather not know. I'd rather just be ignorant. Like they say, ignorance is bliss. Of course it's good for you. Okay, sorry. I had to take care of something. Well, what time is it? It's 9:27. You're just starting your journey? Well, congratulations, you can do it. You have to tell yourself and believe in yourself that you can do it, and realize that you will have lapses where you won't eat ideally. You know that will happen. It happens to all of us, but it's okay. It's okay. Just get back to it and you'll be okay. The 80-20 rule. It's what you do 80% of the time. I don't know how that works to me, it seems like it would be 90% of the time with your diet, but what I really struggled with was my perfectionism. And when I didn't eat what I thought was the perfect way, then I just said, I just give up. I'm not doing this. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it after midnight tomorrow. My diet is ruined for the day. And that was really how I thought. And that was monumental for me to overcome that thinking, that all or nothing, black or white thinking. That was monumental for me. And I knew that I thought like that, and I knew I shouldn't think like that, but I couldn't help it. That was how I thought. And it took me a long time of practicing it and getting right back on that horse and continuing and realizing, it's okay if I do that. Just so I get back, it's okay. And you have to talk to yourself, and you have to be kind to yourself. You're working on it. Thank you, Mickey. Well, good for you, Ellie, if I'm saying it correctly. Oh gosh, that scared me. Thank you. I don't know why it made a sound that... Thank you very much. I appreciate it. What happened to my... Be very, very careful. There. Anything... I don't know. Retired police Lawrence. How are you doing, Lawrence? Are you having a good evening? Thank you for the compliment. Well, I'm going to go in a minute. Hi there, how are you? You want to see what I used to look like? If I was this heavy now, I don't know how I would function. I don't think I could. Do you see how it looks like my chin is moving? People keep getting on here saying I'm using a filter. There's something weird about I think that the camera's trying to focus, and that's why it looks like it's going in and out. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying to help people. Here's another picture. I was in the 200s. Here's a picture of me with my uncle, who was a child psychiatrist. He specialized in anxiety problems in kids. He was pretty well known, actually. He was a good man. Anyway, yeah, I felt like a different person. I was very depressed. I had low self-esteem. I was so embarrassed for him to see me like that. I live in Texas. He lived in Boston, and I didn't see him very often in my life. I didn't want him to see me like that. That's his last time he saw me before he died, and I don't know. I wanted him to be proud of me, and I couldn't control myself, and so I was embarrassed. Well, thank you. I appreciate it for saying that. I actually am a different person. What weight did the highest that I know I was 250. Like I've said before, I stopped weighing myself after 250. I don't think I got much up above 250, but I didn't weigh myself anymore. It was so scary, and I couldn't control myself. I tried. I had so much knowledge. I spent money on therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, different weight loss groups, so many books. My gosh, the books that I have and still have, none of it mattered. If I have so much knowledge about what to do, and I did then, but yet I couldn't implement what I knew. I couldn't make myself do it. Knowing and doing were two very different things for me. I knew what to do, but I couldn't do it, or I couldn't continually do it. I couldn't. I was too hungry. Food meant too much to me for many reasons. It was my coping skill with life. It was how I pushed down bad feelings and depression and hurt, and it was how I dealt with life. And I don't drink, I don't smoke, I never did drugs. I'm a very clean living person, and food was everything to me. Well, you're very sweet. Hi, Argentina. Wow. What's the temperature like in Argentina right now? Is it warm there? I've never been there. I would love to go see what it's like. I have a bunch of pictures. I have video. I need to doing intermittent fasting. I can't do that, Nikki. If I try to fast, it sets me up for binging. I can't fast. It doesn't work for me. Well, thank you, Ellie. That makes me so happy to hear that. I am so sensitive about hunger. I'm hungry right now even. I keep protein bars and protein drinks in my purse so that when I go out, it's almost like an emergency for me. And if I just eat my protein bar or drink my protein shake, I'm okay. I can go on. But it's almost like I become alarmed when I get hungry because I know what will happen. And so I've learned to be prepared. Have food with you so that when you are hungry, you can eat it and then you can control yourself later. That's what I do. This is motivation to me. I used to be 120 and I've been stuck at 200. Well, you can do it. I know your pain. I know how hard it is. And it's not just a matter of following a so-called diet and or exercise. There's so much more to it than that. And people don't talk about it. And the people that I see that do talk about weight loss, most of them have never had massive weight issues. They don't know what it's like to be morbidly obese for decades. They don't know. And I didn't like listening to advice from people that have never had a serious weight issue because it made me feel like something was wrong with me, that I couldn't control myself and do what they were telling me to do. Like I had some kind of a personality deficit. Why can't, this is what I thought to myself. Why can't I do what they're telling me to? What's wrong with me? They're so well put together and they look so great and they're laying it out, a plan, but yet I can't do it. I can't follow it. I'm too hungry. It's not satisfying. Those were the things that I thought. I know I'm like that. I stopped losing weight. There's a lot to weight loss for many people, not for everyone, but for people like me. And I think there's a lot of people like me, actually. For people like me, losing weight and maintaining that weight loss is extremely difficult. But it can be done. It can be. If someone with such profound eating issues over 3 decades of being defeated trying to lose weight, if I can do it, other people can too. Most people don't have issues like me, that not as many, or not as, I don't know. Maybe they do and I just don't know, but I don't think so. Christian, what? I couldn't do the apples and water. I'd go, that would be a binge. That sets me up for a binge. When I get that hungry, I don't care. It does get more difficult as you age. But I remember hearing people say, oh, well, if you don't lose it by the time you're 30, 35, 40 at the latest, you'll never lose it. And I thought, oh, great. I probably never will. And I had professionals tell me that. I'm just now remembering they were professionals. And they said, you'll never lose it if you don't lose it by 40. Really? I lost it when I was 45. It took me 3 years, 45 to 48. And I've kept it off for 10 years. So they were wrong. Be careful what you believe. Be very careful. You have to believe in yourself. It's not like it's something that you can just immediately do, and you don't have to, but it was hard for me to accept this is going to be a long and difficult journey. So be it. It's worth it. Because you know what? The 3 years are going to pass. I didn't know how long it was going to take me, but, reflecting, the 3 years were going to pass regardless. I might as well lose weight during those 3 years. Just like in the future, 3 years will pass. Why not try now? Thank you. Well, I'm 57 is my age. Well, I love talking to people that have the same struggles as me. Thank you, because I want people to know that's right. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. I want people to know that they can do it. It can be done. It's not a lost cause. You don't have to. I was so depressed and so defeated. So much of my life passed and I couldn't even, I felt like, and I was a bystander in my own life. I was verbally, emotionally, financially abused by my ex-husband. He used to say, point to me real aggressively and say things like, being married to you, 2-ton tuna, fat bitch. And he'd say all these horrible things to me in front of our sons and would act like he didn't know me when we were in public. It just, that wasn't exactly what I needed. I needed support. I needed someone to say, hey, it's okay. I'll love you no matter what, and we can do this together. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. But I didn't get that. Thank you. I hope you have a good night too. Thank you for removing that comment. And Beefcake, please, in the future, just block those people because they're not interested in this topic at all. And that's who I want to reach, is people that struggle with weight issues. You guys. Well, it's 9:42 p.m. You got started a few days ago. May I ask what you're doing? Do you have like a certain plan or a system in place? Or thank you for blocking him. So it sounds like words can't express. He was horrible. He's a very bad person, and how I ended up with someone like that. Well, I'm an empath. I'm very, and he was a narcissist and still is. I don't know how I could have thrown a dart at men when I was in college and done better than him. I was an idiot. I knew it was the wrong thing to do, but I was in love with him and I went against my own instincts, and boy, have I paid dearly. How did I get fit? Yeah. Was I big? Let me show you. Was I big? Oh my gosh. Here I am with Uncle Barry in Boston. That's me. Was I big? Here's another picture of me. Pretty big. And I always thought I was a pear shape. I don't know if I am. But I gained weight in my legs and butt. And for me to have such a big upper body meant that my lower body was even huger. Oh, I have lots of pictures. I have video. I wore a brace just to walk. This is my ex, and he lifted weights. He's very muscular, so it might make my picture not look as profound as it is, but I mean, how pathetic is that? If there's some Hollywood producer, they really should pick up my story, because if someone like me that was in an abusive marriage couldn't walk without a brace, I gave up my career as an underwriter so that I could raise our sons, and I was actively being abused, and yet I lost it all on my own, and I told no one what I was doing. When I finally did it, I told no one, and I'm not embarrassed to admit, but the reason I told no one, there were many reasons. One of them was that I didn't think I would lose weight because I never had been successful, really. I mean, there were times in my life where I did lose, but I could never maintain that loss. I would always gain it back. And so when I was 45, when I first started to finally lose it, I told no one. No one knew that I was trying to. I wanted to not only did I not think I would do it, but I wanted to make it mine. I didn't want people saying, well, I can tell you've lost some weight, or, well, I guess your new diet isn't really working. These were the things, my internal dialogue. But people really do those things. Well, it looks like you've lost some weight. I didn't want anybody bringing my weight up. It was such a sore subject, so to speak, that I couldn't tolerate it anymore. I didn't want anybody talking about my weight at all, ever. And so I kept it to myself. I did it all myself. I had no support system, none. And then when I lost enough that people knew, then it was very obvious that I'd lost a significant amount of weight. Then I kind of have to laugh. I denied it. And I said, no, I don't know what you mean. Because I didn't want to talk about it. That's how it was scary and exciting and thrilling all at the same time. And I was forging new territory, unknown terrain of this massive weight loss. And what is that going to be like? Thank you. It did make me stronger. No, he's a bad man. A very bad person. I'm a Scorpio. But if I can help someone or people know that, and maybe I shouldn't dress showing my stomach. I don't know. Is that bad? I want people to see what I've done. I'm proud of what I've done. I still daily struggle. I still want to eat the wrong foods. Still. It never ends. You're a Scorpio too? It never ends, and I'm saying that to let you know I'm human. We all have our monsters to deal with, but it can be done. It can be done. I did work hard. Thank you. I worked really hard. I sacrificed a lot. And I would say I even suffered. I remember laying in bed at night, and I'm doing this because I remember clenching my fists in bed, trying to get to sleep because I was so hungry. And at that time, I didn't know about Fiber One, or I hadn't discovered it. I don't know. But I knew that I had eaten enough protein, fat, fiber, you name it. I should have been full, but my stomach was so stretched out that I was used to eating massive amounts of food, so I felt like I was suffering. Well, it's not for the faint of heart. This is what I looked like. I have many pictures. There's no special pill. There's no gimmick. There's no special diet. For me, everything is about the psychology behind it, not a diet or a meal plan. I knew all of that. It's what you know and implementing it. Knowing and doing it are two different things entirely. No, I had multiple surgeries. I had a brachioplasty. I'm showing you my scar. I had bat wings. I hate that word. I hate saying it. But I had a brachioplasty, and then I had a transverse abdominis, abdominis. A 360 went all the way around, and they lifted the skin up, and I have all the records, all the documentation. They took, I think it was 3.62 pounds of skin. So it didn't tighten itself because it's crying for the new. You're probably right. I've read that before. I've read for years that when we crave chocolate, it's a magnesium deficiency. But yet, even though I took magnesium, I still crave chocolate. So I think that my brain has wiring that's just genetic. I believe, I know my brain very well, and I believe I have, and I've never heard a doctor say, and I'm making this up as far as the terminology, but I think I have faulty wiring. There's something about my brain that compels me to want to constantly eat. And when I do eat, I want to consume a tremendous amount of food. And I'm being very honest. Yes, the skin removal was very painful. It was extremely painful. I had it at UT Southwestern. It's 85% cocoa chop, yeah. But if I have just a little, then I don't want to stop eating it. And I know it's good for you, but just like fasting is supposed to be good for you, for someone like me, it won't work. It'll set me up for a really bad binge. So I'm not going to do it. You have to know your brain. Her addictions could be an addiction. I don't know. For me, it was food meant everything to me. It was my coping skill. Yes, in Texas. And yes, it was very painful. I'm not going to say it's not. I remember wearing this. No, it wasn't just the sleeves. I'm imagining it. I'm remembering it. It was this black, like, corset. And I remember I was so excited because my arms weren't huge. And I remember I constantly went like this and looked in the mirror, and I couldn't believe that I could actually wear shirts and sweaters that I couldn't wear before because my arms weren't so huge anymore. And it was so thrilling. The excitement and happiness I got from just looking in the mirror, even though I was in a lot of pain, was enough to trump the pain. I mean, it was worth every bit of it. Every bit of it. But you have to really want this. It's not, I'll be very honest, it's not easy. It wasn't for me. No, I can't do anything chocolate. I know myself and I know how I am. For me, it's best to not have processed foods in the house or minimal. And the food that I do have is okay. Not great, not bad, okay. That way I don't want to overeat. I just eat until I'm about 80% full. And I don't go out to eat generally. And so that's how I control myself. I keep food in the yeah, I love bubblegum pink. Now that sounds like somebody that would know me that would say that. I like this bubblegum. Pure. I got this on Amazon. But it's sweetened with xylitol, and sugar-free gum gives me diarrhea, and I can't eat it because I eat the whole pack at once, which is embarrassing to admit. And so I can't eat sugar-free gum. And then the bubble gum I really like in the bags, like you buy for Halloween. There's some kind of compulsiveness that goes with that because I love opening up each piece of bubble gum, peeling that little seam and then twisting it and then feeling it and smelling it, popping it in my mouth and chew. And then I could feel it go to my brain, and it was like I was getting high, and then I would just like stare into space, and it was like I was in a trance, and then I would chew it and get all the sugar out, and then put it, in the package, and then roll it, and then get another piece, and do it over and over and over, and then I have this huge pile of bubble gum in wrappers next to me. And then I had this sugar high, and then I felt gross, and then I was disgusted. I did that for years. Years. I've hurt my teeth, my health. So, needless to say, I don't buy bubble gum. No more bubble gum for me. I still like to go on the candy aisle and smell it, but it's best that I don't even do that because I don't want to even know what I'm missing. I don't know what my obsession is with bubblegum, but I think it's the pure sugar. It's like a drug for my brain, and it makes my brain feel good. What do I normally eat in the day? We look 360 done, maybe. Wait, you look great. There's another creator who just had her 360 done, makes bad decisions. I don't know what you mean. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I'm not going to say, I don't think that she's going to make it. I think she's going to gain her way back. I know who you're talking about. And I've watched her and the things that she says and the things that she eats. Based on my life, based on over 30 years of life experience of seeing what works and what doesn't work and knowing the brain of a person like this, I don't know. I hope she succeeds and doesn't gain her weight back. But as far as what I normally eat, I start out the day with eggs and toast. That's how I start my day. Eggs are very important for us. I have studied centenarians, people that are 100 years and older. Guess what? They all eat eggs every day. Everyone I've ever studied and read about. Because I want to live that long. I want to live to 127 if I can. And so I know nutrition is important. Eggs are very important, I believe, for our health. Hi, Brooke. How are you? Hi, Michael. Oh, brother. One day when my book is out, I'll just be able to tell people, just look at my book. But I do have links in my bio that show my credibility. I was interviewed by Bloomberg News. I'm featured in their podcast, weight loss series called Losing It. It's an excellent podcast series. If you're truly serious about losing weight, listen to it. It's free. I'm probably on the spectrum too, Mike. I don't know if I am or not. Yes, sweet potatoes are extremely good for us. I need to eat more sweet potatoes. You're the same way about eggs? Yeah. Well, they additives and processed foods, that is great. And I think that is it Alan? I think that some people, some meaning me is who I'm thinking of, are much more sensitive to those additives, and they make me much more addicted. I don't think some people are quite as sensitive, and it doesn't affect them as profoundly as they affected me. That's what I think. I don't know if I'm correct, but I've been around a while. I think that I probably am correct. Uh, well, thank you very much. You're very kind to say that. You're literally done. I'm I'm a very honest person, and I genuinely hope to help someone that's suffering. No, it's not too late. Despite if you've been overweight for many years or you're severely overweight, I know a lot about how to lose weight. I know a lot. And it's never too late. You just have to have the will to do it. And sometimes that can be very difficult to muster up that inner strength, but you have to figure out how. Why do you want to lose weight? What will change? What motivates you? If what motivates you is just going to a high school reunion, that's not good enough. That's not going to work. And you certainly can't lose weight. It's not sustainable if you try to lose it for someone else. You have to lose it for yourself. That's what I experienced. I tried to lose it for my husband, my ex-husband. That didn't work. I finally lost it for myself. Well, thank you. Onions, fish, and avocados. Yes, those are all excellent foods for us. I try to eat an avocado every day. I try to eat salmon 3 times a week. Salmon is extremely good for us in many ways, and there's a lot of different ways to prepare it. Sometimes I get kind of sick of it, but I know how good it is for me. So, what if you can't walk to exercise? Can you swim? I mean, what are your limitations exactly? Because there's always something that you can do. If you can sit, you can do exercises with weights with your arms. There are, what is that? I don't know who that is. Somebody's trying to go live with me. What's your limitation, Linda, if I may ask? They're in many gyms, they have hand bikes, and I'm motioning, you use the hand bike to raise your heart rate. So there are things that you can do. Most people aren't completely immobilized. And then there's always isometric exercises, which I do all the time. When I'm in my car, I tighten my glutes and hold as hard as I can, as long as I can. I mean, there's always something that we can do. When I brush my teeth at night, I do squats, sumo squats, and I practice standing on one leg, and I do everything I can think of, because it might seem like nothing, but it adds up. It really does add up. I'm living proof that it adds up. Thank you. It's my leg. I can't use it. I had my left foot and ankle reconstructed twice, and I was completely immobilized completely for 3 months. And then it was very limited weight bearing after that. And I was on a scooter. And my left calf has atrophied because of it. I had that done twice. So I know what you're saying, but I remember when I was at my mom's and I had that second foot and ankle surgery, doing I have pictures. Oh, that's right. I have pictures. But I lifted weights laying on the floor. There are always things. You have to be resourceful. But there are things that you can do to use the other leg and your arms. If you, Linda, if you want to write me on my last video, I'd be happy to try to give you some other ideas. I don't know what your situation is exactly, but I've learned creativity and resourcefulness and the drive to maintain or lose weight means everything. Don't think that there's nothing you can do. There's always something that you can do. Well, sure, I wish I could see you guys in real life and talk to you to let you know that it's not too late. There's always something that you can do, and you can gain control over your mind. And I don't know if that sounds strange, but that's what my problem was. I had a lap band for 5 years. That was a joke. Bubblegum tripping. I had a lap band, if anybody knows what that is, to try to lose weight, and all I did was throw up. I've done every diet known to man. I've paid a lot of money for all the knowledge that I've accumulated over decades, and if someone like me, hardcore, severely overweight person, who never thought I'd ever be a normal, healthy weight, if someone like me can do it, look at my story in my bio. Look at my story in the National Weight Control Registry. I'm featured. I'm the #1 success story for a reason. I mean, I'm not bragging. It's the truth. I mean, I hate saying it because I feel like, oh, look at me, I'm so great. But I did something that's very atypical, and to be that obese for that many decades and then to lose it finally and keep it off in my mid-40s is very rare. Very rarely done. And I'm here to let people know you can lose weight and you can maintain it. It is not easy. And unlike most people that you see about losing weight, it's not just what you do in the gym. It's not following a meal plan. You have to have control of your brain. You have to have strategies. You have to know what's important to you. Why are you doing this? What are your triggers? What will change when you lose weight? Do you struggle with certain foods? Are you going to have to give up certain foods? Are you going to have to give up sugar? Because for me, sugar triggered something in my brain. There's a domino effect, and I just spiraled down, and I lost all control. It's really frightening when I think about it. And nobody knew why I didn't even know why I did it. I was born that way. When I was 11 is when I finally, and it's in my National Weight Control Registry story. When I was 11, my parents sent me to camp for 2 weeks, and we had a food canteen. My parents put $50 in that food canteen, and I went nuts. I thought it was the best thing in the world. I could buy all the candy that I wanted, and nobody could tell me that I couldn't eat it. And so I obsessed over that food canteen and bought so many candy bars and put them under my pillow. And I remember the girls in my cabin talking about the dance and the good-looking boys. I knew who the good-looking boys were too, but I didn't really care that much. What I cared about was the candy that I would get to eat. It made me so excited just thinking about that candy. And then I wanted to eat it alone. I didn't want other people looking at me when I ate it, but I have real serious issues that I had to overcome. Yeah, I should figure out workshops or classes. I'm dealing with a mom that has Alzheimer's who's very combative and making it very difficult for me. I've got a lot on my plate right now, but I would love to do something like that, the workshops. I would love that. Thank you for saying congratulations. How did I lose it? I figured out strategies to deal with my faulty wiring in my brain, is the best way I can say it. And for instance, here's something that helps me even now. I always have at least one protein bar and a protein shake in my purse. One of the, the protein shakes you can buy at Walmart or Kroger that, what's the brand? I can't remember. I buy one of the cheapest ones, although I do like Metrics. But I always have that in my purse. I cannot let myself get too hungry because when I do, I can't control myself. And it's not just that. I don't even care. I get to this point where I'm so hungry that I don't care. I don't care. I just know I need to eat now. I've always been that way, so I have to be very conscientious about what I'm doing and where I'm going so that I always have food available so that I can control myself. Yes, that's whoever said that. You're very adept about my parents being too strict with the junk food. My dad was especially strict, and I have this very vivid memory of having Oreo cookies that he put on top of the refrigerator. I see them in my mind's eye, and I was a kid, and so they were really high up to me. And I wanted those Oreo cookies so badly. And guess how many he would let me have? One Oreo cookie. Not even 2 or 3, which I think it would be normal. But no, I could only have 1. So he was very strict with me, and then he would force me to eat broccoli, and that was a big tug of war because we're both very strong-willed. Anyway, and then I remember going to my girlfriend's houses, one girlfriend in particular, and I would eat a tremendous amount of their junk food, and I remember the dad saying something to me, and I was so embarrassed. And then when I would go, I remember visiting my cousins in Indiana on their farm and eating all the ice cream sandwiches. They had one of those really big freezers that I guess, probably a lot of people have them, but especially being farmers, they had several of those deep freezers. And I ate all those ice cream sandwiches. And my Aunt Judy, I remember going into the dining room. I was sitting there at the table with my 2 cousins and saying, "Who ate those ice cream sandwiches?" And I didn't say a word. And I remember her saying, "Someone is lying through their teeth." And I remember thinking, what does that mean, lying through their... But I just couldn't control myself. And I wasn't used to having that ability to eat what I wanted. And I just went nuts. So, thank you. I'm sorry, Jack, about your mom. Thank you for the compliments. You're very nice. I'm doing well. What is abuse? You mean, I don't know what you mean. I don't have a filter. Look, I'll prove it to you. If I had a filter, you would see like eyelashes and fake makeup. I don't have a filter. I know that you think that because I've seen what you're talking about. It's like the bottom of my face moves in and out, and someone told me that's the camera trying to focus. I don't know why it does that, and I don't know if I've seen it on other people, but let's see. When I was holding this picture up earlier tonight, I saw it do that, where it looked like my chin was going in and out. And so I could prove to you that I'm not lying. I don't know if it probably won't do it, and I can't even hold it still enough. Do you see it? Did you just see it? You see it? It's like my chin goes in and out, and I think it is the camera that's focusing. Somebody is saying that I have a filter, and I was proving that I'm not. Yes, we are programmed to seek what's prohibited. Thank you. I created an alter ego to rebel against. And the alter ego is a very vivid, detailed picture in my mind of the part of my brain that always sabotaged me, despite my great intentions, desires, tremendous desire to be a healthy weight. I never wanted to be skinny. I always wanted to be just fit and normal. I just wanted to be able to have an active life like my friends. Yeah, this is me. That's my uncle. He was a child psychiatrist in Boston. I was visiting him. Here's another picture. I just showed this. I have so many pictures. And what I haven't done is have my video, my Sony camcorder. What was that sound? Sony camcorder digitized. I just haven't taken all the hours that I know it will take to do it. I just haven't done that. It seems in my mind it's this monumental task, and I'm just dreading it. But I have a ton of pictures. There I am with my brace. My husband kind of looks like he has a bit of a gut there, but he lifted weights. He was very muscular. Well, thank you for saying that about wasting my time. I feel sorry for people on lives. People say mean things too. How did I do it? It took me a long time to figure out how to lose weight. I didn't lose weight until I was in my mid-40s, and it took me 3 years. And I did it very slowly so that my new way of life, my new habits weren't so painful. It was painful for me to change. I love eating, and I coped, past tense, with life, with food. I still do a little bit sometimes, of course, but it was very, very, very painful. And it took me over 3 decades to figure out how to implement my knowledge, is the best way I can say it, because knowing and doing are 2 different things. And I knew what to do, but I couldn't make myself consistently do it. I just couldn't. And I would give up because I would get too hungry or frustrated, or I was too stressed or depressed, and the food made me feel better. Fiber One. You should. I like it I cut it up with bananas and almond milk, but I have it in the night. I'll just eat it out of the bag. Well, thank you for saying, I think I am strong mentally to be dealing with the things that I'm dealing with right now and have dealt with in the past. I think we all are stronger than we think we are. When push comes to shove, as the expression goes, I think that most of us are a lot stronger than we would ever think. So, well, it's 10:16, and I'm tired. So I think I'm going to go, but please follow me on YouTube. I have more content on YouTube, and I would really appreciate it if you'd follow me on YouTube. It would mean a lot to me if you would. Thank you, Kimmy. I appreciate you saying that to me. It makes me feel like this was worthwhile if I can impart some knowledge and feel like I'm doing something good with my knowledge, because what a shame it would be. I mean, my life has already been tragic. Why shouldn't I share that knowledge, what I finally learned? Why shouldn't I? Well, I need to drink some water. That's something else we need to, recognized a couple weeks ago that I was not drinking enough water, and I was dehydrated almost all the time. And so we have to be very intentional with a lot of things, like keeping, for me, well, I also like to keep apples in my purse, an apple and or a protein bar, protein shake. I even take apples to the gym So there's a lot of strategies. There's a lot we can do when we actually experience it and live it and figure out what works best for us. There's a lot that we can do. It's not hopeless, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go, but thank you everybody for everything. And I hope to see you again. And please follow me on YouTube. Love you guys. Now, if I know how to click off of, let's see, how do I even go out? Good night. Why don't I see the button? Oh, I remember. It's because I swiped that way so I could see better. All right, there it is. Bye.